Hello everyone, Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I am gonna introduce you and show you two of the dolls or slash sculptures. I think what I make is like something between a doll and a sculpture that you haven't seen just because I've never recorded a video of me making them. So I want to start with saying thank you to my 2,417 subscribers. I'm really happy that I get like a certain amount of subscribers every single day, so it's kind of growing with regularity, which I'm very thankful for. So yeah, let me show you the two dolls that you've if any of you follows me on Instagram, you've probably seen a picture of them at some point, but there is no video and there is no anything like about them on YouTube. So let's get into it. So the first one is probably the smallest I've ever made. I hope it focuses. So I'm just gonna show you all the way around so you get a good look at it. Okay, so I have made and finished this little, let's call it sculpture, just I think around Easter 2020, if I'm not wrong. It was meant to be a little bit different, and this is an egg, okay, and this is a nest if you didn't understood that straight away. I love his face, he's so cute. So this started to be like a completely different one, and then I ended up actually making legs for him and stuff, but it wasn't just like, I don't know, it did not look the way I like kind of imagined. So I ended up taking the legs off and putting him into like a nest. Everyone on Instagram said he looks like a potato, but he's actually he's actually an egg, which I really love actually. I love all the blood that drips down. I think he ended up being very realistic, like even the way this paint has dripped down and the way it's hardened. I think like literally when you look at it, it looks like there is fresh blood that just like, you know, just runs down on him. And then he's got a little cute little hat here. It's done from Super Sculpted Polymer clay. It did not took me too long to sculpt him, but it was really hard to make this shape be very soft, because obviously it's an egg and it has to be like without any bumps and without any like no texture. It's still not like a perfect egg shape. I think that's why people kind of thought it's a potato, but it's fine. It can be a potato as well. It's still like really, it's a cute potato. I absolutely love his face. He looks a bit different. Well, not different, because he still looks like a bit of a like a cute monster. So he's got this, I guess you'd say, ugliness to him, but I don't think he looks in anyhow like you know, like he's a monster, like he'd be like a bad character. I think he still has across like this sweetness in the face and like a naivety, like more like a childlike. That's how I see him anyways. So yeah, that's the first one. And the second one is actually a doll that it's probably one of my most complicated ones. But I still ended up making it really fast because I was really excited how it started to turn out. So this is the other one. I really don't have a name for him. I'm just gonna quick show you like all the way around, and then I'll just take a minute to explain what he represents. And he has a base here with like eggs and stuff. I'm just gonna let me just take the camera to show you closer, because it's a little bit there is a lot going on that base thing, and I want you to see that. Okay, so here is the base. There is some fried eggs on it, there is some dirty dishes, a pan, some blood, there is a like a cup in the back. Let me just turn this around. Careful, because I feel like I'm just gonna drop him. So that's in the back. You've got some nails. Very important here, a detail on the legs, like he's got bleeding legs and he's got like punctures, that there is like nails into his legs. Like that's an important detail as well, I'll tell you in a minute. So here is the back. There is like some cups, dirty dishes and fried eggs, and he's literally like walking on them. I'm just gonna show you quickly from the back his jacket, and this is an important detail as well. I've been inspired from the mushroom that is called the bleeding tooth to do these kind of things on his head, which I think are very freaky, but they just look really awesome. I'm sorry for people that have a bit of a phobia with these things. I know a lot of people do, so but I just think he looks super cool and creepy with them on. So yeah, that's the base. I'm just gonna put the camera back on and I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about what he means and how he ended up looking like that. Okay, so I don't think I've ever spoken about this, so like a little bit of introduction to my dolls in general. A lot of people think I make the dolls for them to be like scary, for them to be like a monster that means something bad, that would do something to you if you get to meet them or something like that, and that is not the case. I usually take an idea which in this the egg one doesn't really have nothing behind. I just wanted to make like an egg sculpture, but they usually have an idea. They have something that I want to represent, either if it's something socially or a human emotion or anything like that. And obviously with art, when you want to represent an idea or a message, you take that like idea of like greed or love or suffering, and you exaggerate that, you enhance it with different details and stuff. And obviously my style is a little bit more dark, a little bit more macabre, so that kind of shows as well. But I feel like in my art I understand better certain emotions and certain aspects of life, and they're a little bit more dark as well, obviously. And when I exaggerate that, I'm trying to kind of take that emotion or take that thing and make it into a doll, they end up being a little bit more intense, like the way you've probably seen my most of my dolls and sculptures, that they actually look a little bit more, but they never meant to, that actually don't mean like, okay, this is the monster is gonna come kill you at night. I mean, that's not really the case. And I've actually never spoken about this, but that's something that they mean, because a lot of people say, oh, I'm really like, it's really beautiful, but it's so scary, it's gonna haunt me at night and stuff. And I just wanted for a while now to speak about what the dolls are. And I know blood and stuff like that, and like maybe was considered to be an ugly face or anything like that would be kind of a little bit of a, I don't know, intimidating to people, or they'd find it like creepy or anything like that. But that's not what they are about. I'm like kind of not really trying to achieve that by making these dolls and by making them look like the way they do. So about this particular doll, as you can see, he's got very extreme shapes. He's got really big torso here. He's got like a very pea head sort of just sticking out from his jacket. He's a giant if you look. Okay, so I do really like in my art to kind of with the dolls and with the painting, I do like extreme features. So if that's like a really big nose or big ears or different body shapes, like extreme, either having like like I don't really look for what we can call as perfection in my art, because I think, I don't know, I just like to do like all sorts of like different extreme body shapes. So I'll try and elongate the arms, as you probably seen in the sculpture that I called the Source of Time. She's got like she he's got like really long arms and like weird head. So I'm mostly into like that sort of body shapes and stuff. So I'm trying to have like dolls that are completely opposite from each other. So have like a really tall, exaggeratedly elongated and skinny, and then have something like this, which is a complete opposite from that body shape and stuff. So kind of it's interesting for me like that as well, and I think like that they represent like somehow a bit more of the message behind it. So I do not have a name for him, but let me just take you through the what he actually represents. So I picked the style of about the 16th and 17th century, the aristocracy. He represents the aristocracy, and the greed the aristocracy had at that point. Most of the Europe, I will speak for Europe because that's what I mostly know, there was a state of complete starvation, the high class and what they call the peasants, where there was a really big difference in the life quality. There was very high levels of starvation, as they used probably before that as well, but that was the point when everything started to develop really quickly, and that's when the rich and the poor, there were a really big difference between the life quality, I'd say, at that point. So he is to represent the greedy aristocracy that basically were at that point. So that's why he's got this really exaggerated top part. So I wanted him to represent like greed and represent like a lot and represent the abundance that they have compared to the people, to the peasants, and even to the middle class, if there was a middle class at that point. There was, but even they were more like poor than rich. As well, this cupboard that is inside, so there is some red velvet in there, and this is a tooth that I have sculpted, so that's the pull kind of thing. So he's got two of these. They actually was wrong, this doesn't open. Yeah, so that's as much as it comes out. You can actually pull them out. Oh yeah, it comes a bit more. I think it's a bit stuck something there. So there is some nice velvet inside. Oh, this is just unattached. I need to glue that back on. So we have some, what's going on? Oh, okay, there is a little piece there that actually I think you're just meant to open it this much or something. So there is the tooth in here, and is actually bleeding, if you can see. So it kind of goes with the idea of the bleeding tooth that is at the top as well. Tooth's got to do with mouth, with like, and there is food here. So there is like a little bit of everything kind of related into this doll as well. I decided to make one of his arm as a prosthetic, and he's got inserted a fork here. So basically the whole idea of food as well is like, at that point people were really limited in what they could obviously have as food, like the poor people. So obviously the rich guys, these guys, they were having the best of the best, and that's why I decided to have that. I mean, he doesn't even need an arm as long as he has a prosthetic with a fork, and he can abundantly indulge in food and not really think that there is like a complete starvation for the rest of the people. Like they were fine, why would you need a hand? It's not like they were doing any work. So obviously these are all very extreme ideas that when you think of something, they're like, why don't I just like take one of his arms off and just make one of these that would just have a fork? So this is a very exaggerated and very direct sort of detail that would kind of create this whole message and the image. And obviously he has like this little, I don't know how you can actually call them. I need to look up on Google's for words before I start making these videos. So he's got this little, like, I think you call it a bib or something for children, so you don't get dirty. And he's got like some, he's got some food things there, like the yellow from the eggs and stuff like that. So I'm trying to keep like in a painting, if you start using a color, you need to kind of more or less use it throughout the painting. So with my dolls, I'm trying as well, if I pick a food theme, kind of I'm trying to keep it more or less. I don't just use it like in one spot and that's it. So, and here it's my handwriting that says je voudrais, which would mean in French I want. Usually it's je veux, but je voudrais, it's a more nicer way, which I imagine they would speak like that back in the day. And it's got some nice gold stitching around, and I really like this detail. I actually added in the end, this was the last detail I added to him. It looks like he needed something more to go on there, and I'm really into his like mustache. He's got like a pink mustache, like if you can see, very thin, goes both ways, and he's got the little ponytail that just, I wanted to do here like something that would hold his head together. I think I'm still do like a black little bow or something, but I don't know, I just didn't do it then. So I really love his head sculpt as well. Like he's probably one of my favorite. I do like this kind of the bleeding tooth mushroom idea that goes on. These were actually holes that I filled in with this blood mixture that I do. I had a lot of fun making his jacket, and you can see it's like the rotten aristocracy, so there is all his thing, like all his jacket here, it's all like messed up and burned. This is something that I'm still thinking of what to do with. He had two buttons here, but I didn't really like how they looked, and he had that on the other side as well. So I'm really thinking of either taking these yellow things completely off, or just, I kind of now think that the buttons weren't actually looking bad. I don't know why I took them off, but it was a thing, like I didn't like it. I thought like I need to take this off. Yeah, I did not had as well a plan for making this doll. Like it wasn't like all these things, the arm, even the fried eggs here. I knew really that I want to do something with the cupboard, so this would be something as well to the idea of like, hoarding things that they didn't need, hoarding more than what they needed for a good life and stuff. So there is like every single thing kind of has a meaning why it's there. So I knew for sure, like I wanted to do the cupboard inside so he looks as big as he can look, but I had an idea. Obviously I wanted to pick this nice kind of is this like a velvet? I don't think it's a velvet because it's got these little lines, but something like that. You can see it's got this beautiful gem. So I tried to make his jacket as rich looking as I possibly could. So he's got like this, he's holding his finger like that, which as well is a sign of very, I guess, posh situation. So yes, but I don't usually plan on what, like this tooth idea came in later on after I decided to go with the head like that. The idea to do the head with the spots wasn't as well something that I knew before I started to actually sculpt the head. And then all the details that I added on his clothing, this arm thing with the fork came in later. Now actually my sister said something about that, with like you should make a fork in his hand or something. And then I said I'm actually gonna make the fork being his, like half of his arm. So kind of that's a bit of thanks to her. So he's got like this little shorts here sort of thing. and there is nails into his legs that are bleeding, and these nails into his legs, like he's got a few on the other side as well. These nails into the legs are mostly to, like, he's bleeding all over this floor, or you know, he's on the floor, like the food is on the floor, which again is something that would be like, they were so just like, they would rather throw it and walk on it than, you know, give it to people they really needed. So the idea as well with these nails and the bleeding is that he, you know, to represent the actually somewhere lower down there in society, there were people that were really suffering, and you know, but they would just ignore what's going on. So the nails are like, can you imagine having like nails into your legs and bleeding, and not even like wiping it off, you just like completely ignore it, you know it's there but you just don't care. So basically that's the idea of like him having like these nails into his legs. So as you can see, like all these things, they look horrible and they kind of look like very macabre and very like dark, but they're not, they're there as a detail to add to the picture and to add to the message, but they don't literally mean like he's a monster, that he's got like nails into his leg and he's bleeding and stuff. There is a bit more about that. So that's why I really wanted to introduce this doll to you, because I really love it, and I kind of feel now sad that I've never recorded, but at that point I wasn't really recording much of my work, and I started to make him so quick, and I finished him so quick that it was just like, I don't know, the minute I've realized maybe I should have recorded, I was like nearly finished with him. So yes, more or less I am all happy with him. Show you a bit more details. So he's got like a little pocket here, and there's like as if some flowers and this detail. So it's gold. I'm sorry if you can hear the wind, it's really bad. It's like, I hope you can hear, it's like very intense. It's like in a horror movie or something. Yes, this is the, oh, actually a little interesting thing here, like his arm is a bit burnt, if you can see. I actually burnt it by mistake by baking and over baking him, but after that I actually sculpted another hand, obviously because I've destroyed this one, so I thought I'm gonna make another one. And then I have realized that I actually like the burnt one, because again, it's like a thing that, you know, like rotting and, you know, decaying of, you know, society that the society that he represents. And I thought the burnt hand would kind of still as well mean like, you know, represent like the you know, the weird stuff they were doing, you know. And I thought that's just gonna be another nice detail to add to the picture, so I kind of still use the burnt hand there. And I think that's about it, to be honest. This is the only doll I think I don't have a video of how I made it on this like dolls that you know, not the repaints, like the actual ones that I'm doing from scratch. I think these two things are the only things that I have not, I don't have a video of how I've actually made them. So yes, this little guy here, I think for someone that, you know, it's into stuff like that, and if ever is going to be purchased at some point, they will be able to even use this as like little storage thing. So I think I usually have a little bit open like this when I store it. Is actually in my studio with the other dolls, so I had to take it home today to show it to you guys. So I've been there to take it and bring it home with me so I can record this video. And yeah, that's who he is. He doesn't have a name yet. We've changed his name quite a few times, so I'm still thinking, but that's a little nice detail. So I'm trying to, like, I kind of based his looks on like 16th, 17th century, but not really. Sort of like, I like to design my own things, you know, living my fashion designer fantasy through my dolls. So yes, thank you so much for watching this video. That is it for today. If you liked it, and I don't know, maybe consider to subscribe to my channel. And usually all the videos on YouTube, they're doing really well when you guys are a bit more engaged. So if you can like and leave a comment, you know, as I always say, if you don't have time to leave a comment, just leave a black heart. That's usually like my online signature kind of thing. So, you know, if you like this doll and you want to support a little bit my channel, just leave a black heart in the comments. That means a lot to me. Thank you so much. Have a nice evening, and we'll see you in another video really soon.